Hey, hello, friends. This is Charles Bird welcoming you to the April 14th, 2023 edition of Rant-Om Thoughts, where sacred cows are grilled and killed for your lunching and munching pleasure. It's good to see everyone again. I missed doing this. It's been a while, but and I'll you know, I know I sound like the ex-boyfriend who says, "Give me one more chance, baby," but well, life keeps on happening, so I'm not as able to record as consistently as I want to, but here I am. All right. I trust everyone had a wonderful Easter weekend. After 3 years, Grace Lutheran Church, where I attend and have been a member since 2010, has revived its Easter tradition of having the choir sing the Hallelujah chorus from Handel's Messiah. And I tell you what, it was great to hear that again. You know, after not being able to do that for 3 years because of all that nonsense. But while it is great to have that again, it was also it was still very disappointing to see so many churches roll over and go along with this insanity. I mean, I was not going to set foot in there until the mask mandate was lifted. And Caesar demanded too much, and when Caesar demands too much and demands that which is not his, it's time to stop rendering. And that's something I wished the leadership of churches and denominations in America, even my own, the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, understood. A few weeks ago, there was a shooting in New Hampshire. 7 casualties, 4 adults, including the shooter, and 3 children. The shooter was killed by Nashville police before she could take any more lives. Usually, as many of you know, I'm usually very, very critical of police brutality, police corruption, police incompetence, because there is so much of it. But whenever police actually do something that is praiseworthy, I will note it. I will give credit where it is due, and they did their jobs very well. Within literally within minutes of the news hitting the internet, we had these corrupt, self-serving, power-hungry, would-be dictator politicians calling for gun control. And having the gall to accuse anyone who disagreed with their proposed solutions of politicizing the tragedy when they themselves are the ones milking it for all it's worth. But worse than the usual suspects were quote-unquote conservatives, including no less than Ben Shapiro, calling for red flag laws, ERPO, or extreme risk protection orders, or even going so far as to suggest that GRSMs, gender romantic sexual minorities, because the shooter happened to be a female to male transsexual, going so far to ban them from being able to own firearms. And, you know, the I mean, the worst part about it is that I have anticipated. I've seen it coming for decades. I've dreaded it. Neocons. The Beltway wing of Conservative Inc. Mainstreaming gun control into conservative thought, into right-wing thought. But I always thought that they would use war on terror language to justify this. That's what I thought was going to happen. We need to disarm the terrorists. We need to disarm the Muslims. You need to turn over your weapons. It's the patriotic thing to do. It supports the war effort. Romans 13. But now what they're doing is they're using the culture war to justify it. And in doing so, gets the quote-unquote religious right on board with that agenda, and it unites the Beltway wing of Conservative Inc. and the Mar-a-Lago wing of Conservative Inc. You know, who are all tread harder, daddy, thy will be done, God Emperor. When Trump said, take the guns first, go through due process second. On this issue. And if there is a silver lining in this, it's that the intelligent right-winger will maybe see that the Republican Party is not the friend of gun owners. That and that there are better options. Just saying. But let's see what the Constitution. I have here my pocket copy, which I carry in the same pocket in my suit jacket as my compact Bible. Let's see what the Constitution has to say about red flag laws and ERPOs and taking gun rights away from people who make lifestyle choices that, Matt Walsh doesn't agree with. A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. All gun laws are infringements. Red flag laws, ERPOs, bump stock bans. Banning people who make lifestyle choices that Matt Walsh and Candace Owens don't agree with. Waiting periods. That BS Lautenberg pushed for in the 90s. That keeps men from owning firearms if their ex-wives accuse them of domestic violence, whether there's any veracity to the accusation or not. Waiting periods, background checks, infringements. Registration, infringement. All gun laws are infringements. You see, in a free society, a truly, truly, truly free society, you should be able to walk right into a hardware store, pull a snub-nosed revolver off of a pegboard, and have the cashier ring you up with it. No background check, no waiting period. You don't even have to show your ID. It would be just as easy as purchasing a screwdriver or a hammer or a pair of pliers. And any politician, regardless of the letter next to his or her name, who disagrees with what I just said, is not your friend. Presidential politics. Next item. Joseph Schreibvogel, alias Joseph Maldonado, alias Joe Exotic, popularly known as the Tiger King, declared a run for the Libertarian Party presidential nomination. And Angela McArdle, the chairwoman of the Libertarian National Committee, who is my friend, said no, we're not going to be a landing pad for D-list celebrities. And this led to an amusing Twitter exchange between the two, which got even more amusing when he stepped in it twice. Actually, 3 times. First, he called for an assault weapons ban, which is something you do not do if you're running for for any sort of office as a libertarian. Then he suggested more abortions as a possible solution to the so-called school shooting epidemic, which even people who are pro-choice were like totally freaked out by that, because it's just messed up and crazy. Oh, and he made some snide remarks about Karen Ann Harlow's hair, which is, it's like stepping on Superman's cape. You don't do that. Well, eventually, after it finally dawned on him that he's not welcome in the Libertarian Party, he changed his registration to Democrat, and now he's going to run for president as a Democrat, which is a much better fit given the quality of people the Democrat Party tends to field as candidates. And he will be running from his prison cell. Because, again, it should be noted that he is doing time in federal prison for conspiring to commit murder for hire. And again, assault weapons ban, remember what I said earlier? Any politician who does not believe that it should be as easy to purchase a firearm as it would be, a hammer, is not your friend, and Joe Exotic is not your friend. All right. And speaking of the Democrat primary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is also running for the Democrat Party nomination. Let's rip this Band-Aid off right now. He's not going to get the Democrat Party nomination. He's not. Okay? The media will at best ignore him, or at worst, try to portray him as like Lyndon LaRouche 2.0. It's just not going to happen. The Kennedy name, thanks to the antics of his Uncle Ted and his cousins, it doesn't have the same mystique to it that it had in previous decades. And another reason why that mystique has faded is because of revelations about his father and his other uncle, the president, John F. Kennedy. It's revelations such as Bobby Sr. Having Marilyn Monroe assassinated because she refused to abort JFK's illegitimate child. Won't read about that in any history books. The whole Camelot thing was a myth. And objectively speaking, JFK was a mediocre president, but I'm starting to digress. Another thing about RFK Jr. that needs to be remembered is that this is the same man who wanted to haul climate skeptics before an international tribunal and have them tried for crimes against humanity, like war criminals. So, so that's something that that health freedom activists and liberty movement people, that's something that they forget and ignore at their own peril if they want to go tilting at windmills with Bobby Jr. On the Republican side, Trump has the GOP nomination bought and paid for. You know, I mean, Ron DeSantis is probably going to wait until a little later in the year before he makes it official, because historically that's what more successful campaigns have done. Instead of going after it now, like Nikki Haley and John Bolton and Pompeo and Tim Scott, who just announced his exploratory committee. But that's not going to help him. It's not. He won't last. He won't last till Super Tuesday. It's because the Republican Party base are a bunch of, they're a bunch of NPCs. They don't think for themselves. They let Fox News and talk radio hosts do the thinking for them, and I don't know how to put it generously or nicely. It's just the way it is. That's just the way they are. I know this because I used to be active in Republican and conservative politics. I used to deal with these people. These are the people who picked John McCain and Mitt Romney over Ron Paul. Okay? These are the people who told me that if it ever came down to Ron Paul versus Hillary Clinton, they would pick Hillary Clinton because she would be better for Israel. These are the people that form the base of the party. And they will nominate Trump even if he is jailed and convicted and running from his dorm at Club Fed. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's the way the Republican Party is. And if there's a silver lining in all of that, it'll be that it will hasten the deserved end of the Republican Party. It deserves to go the way of the Whigs and the Federalists. It's just Socialist Party B to the Democrat Party's A. At this point, voting Republican is like betting on the Washington Generals to beat the Harlem Globetrotters. It's like betting on some no-name jobber to beat Macho Man Randy Savage. We all know how that will end. And I am for the Trump indictment, by the way. I am not shedding any tears over it. I laugh and I savagely mock people who cry about America turning into a banana republic because their preferred dictator is being held accountable. In an actual banana republic, members of the ruling class, of which Trump is part and parcel, do not get held accountable for jack. They don't get indicted for anything. And the people who do the investigating would have been disappeared. Okay, that's an actual banana republic. That's how banana republics work. So I'm all for the Trump indictment. I don't think we should just stop with Trump. We should go after Bill Clinton for doing the same thing with his former mistresses, and using campaign funds to shut them up and obstruct justice. And we should indict not just Trump, but also his successor and his predecessors, Obama, Bush, Clinton. Not Carter, not because of his advanced age, but because he was more incompetent than crooked. But that's a whole other video. Really, they're all dirty. Jail them all. And there are those of you who say that we should just give Trump a pass because they're all dirty. No. Okay? There's nothing cool or edgy about your nihilism. You're not sophisticated or above it all when you talk like that. No, you're an idiot if you talk like that. And there's nothing based or red-pilled or dissident about defending Trump at every turn and sucking up to him. There isn't. And if you're a grown man who does that, if you're a grown man who reflexively white knights for Trump anytime anyone criticizes him for anything or suggests that he be held accountable for anything, you're not an alpha male. You're not a Chad. You're Waylon Smithers. Okay. Bud Light. Bud Light is not beer. Bud Light is soda that masquerades as beer. It is 90% bicarbonated water and 10% not literally urine, but kind of a synthetic urine. Like they take the basic ingredients and mix them together to kind of synthesize it. But that's what Bud Light is. Okay? It's horrible. It's horrible and nobody should drink it. And this is not an opinion I suddenly formed because of Dylan Mulvaney. No, this is something that I have known. And it's not an opinion, it's a fact. It's a fact that I have known since attending high school in the 90s, okay? You know? I'll give you some real beer names. Spaten, Optimator, Dortmunder, Weihenstephaner. Those are real beer brands. Okay? Go over to Bevmo, get yourself some culture. Right. Getting back to Easter, every once in a while, Christmas, Easter, you'll see some internet atheist posting some meme or some link to some cheesy InfoWars knockoff, claiming that that Christmas and Easter and other Christian holidays are just retreads of ancient pagan holidays. It's bunk. It's fake history. And the people who do that, they're just sad, miserable folk who, they're just sad, miserable folk who aren't happy unless everyone else around them is just as miserable as they are. That's why they try to ruin everybody's Christmas and Easter with that stuff. They spent their a lot of these people, they spent their youth in some dark room listening to either punk or metal or whatever, becoming increasingly bitter at the world for not recognizing them for being as intelligent as they think they are. That's the sort of person who does that. Well, Hans Feeney, Lutheran Satire, put out a new vid. Ishtar Ruins Easter. It's a sequel of sorts to Horus Ruins Christmas. I think I'll link to it in the description below. It's a real humdinger. I think many of you will enjoy it. If any of you are in Modesto, there's a Mexican restaurant on the corner of I Street and 10th, Casa Maestros. The oysters they serve there are out of this world. So, check that out if you're ever in Modesto and you're hungry. Okay, gang, this is it. Almost 35 minutes. A little shorter than expected, but because I had so much to talk about. I will try to be more consistent in producing more episodes. I'm going to try to get more guests to appear with me on Convo. There was this one guy I've been talking to do that with me, but he keeps backing out on me at the last minute. But hopefully I'll be able to round up some interesting people to talk to, and okay. That'll do it. Think while it's still legal. Keep your BS detector turned on. I will see you next time.